right, so I wake up this morning and boom, we got another transfer. Here we go soon. That's the kind of update you get from Fabrizio these days when he's trying to like front run the news cycle. But according to Fabrizio, Manchester United are set to sign Carlos Baleba from Brighton as a new midfielder. Official bid over 70 million euros plus 6 million euros add-ons sent to Brighton as per David Ornstein, pushing since August 2025 to join United. He'll go soon. Obviously, he was, of course, he's kind of like responding to David Ornstein, who drops the bomb and then moves on. Well, obviously, Fabrizio has to circle back and multiple updates. He's going to add some layers and context, put a little razzle dazzle to keep the conversation going. So obviously, I don't hate that. Sorry, I kind of respect it personally, but he does highlight. You do see highlight the difference and contrast in their approaches to reporting. So obviously, this is one that I think definitely looks like a very good signing for Manchester United. It's a big headline. The fee seems very reasonable, 60 million British pounds and about 5 to 7 million in add-ons, depending on who you listen to. But obviously, Baleba didn't have the best season last season, and if you talk to some people, they'll say this is a move that should have happened last year when he was actually coming off a really good season. Last season wasn't particularly a good one for him. He was on the bench, and because of this, you can see people are arguing over how if this is even a good signing, and are people even excited about this? If you're a Manchester United fan, are you excited about this signing? Baleba barely featured consistently last season. There was a lot of time on the bench. So even Goldbridge is pointing out the fact that he goes, if we end up paying 70 for Baleba, that's overpaying massively, but that's what happens when you're trying to sign players in the last 2 weeks of the window. Kyle says, bro, everyone overpays these days. Just relax and enjoy life sometimes. But you got to give it to some of these concerns that the Manchester United fans are having, because Baleba is still really good, but yeah, he didn't have the best season last season, and it's okay to question if this is a good signing. But if they do get this sign over the line, he brings a lot of legs to the midfield. Obviously, that's backup for Santos, I think. Or maybe Santos might even get relegated to the bench and come off the bench to support Baleba. Who knows? Because Baleba definitely has more Premier League experience as of right now. I think that Santos is better at breaking lines, but carrying the ball, it's not even comparable. Baleba carries the ball better. So we'll see how this one plays out. But some people actually point out some of the deficiencies in his passing metrics per 90. This is Baleba compared to other players that are playing in the United's midfield. Mark Goldbridge, talks about, he said, does Laurie actually do any research? Defensive metrics are good, but passes over 90 last season, Santos 60 per 90, Mainu 50 per 90, Tielemans 45 per 90, Baleba coming in last position at 35 per 90. So obviously he ranks in the bottom compared to these other players in the Manchester United midfield. So there's also some of the other narratives that are kind of floating around saying that United baited City into overpaying for Elliot Anderson just to swoop in and get the better player and Baleba. I think, to me, that's just cope. I don't think that's what happened. And But I get the argument. Obviously, you gotta make yourself feel good. If you're a Manchester United fan, you want to feel like you're getting a good deal. But overall, I mean, you gotta admit that Anderson right now is just a better player. I don't think he's a 100 million player. I mean, that's just excessive payment. But this summer has proven that money is just not even a question. You pay whatever the market is requested. You don't lollygag. You don't waste time, or else you will lose your player. So, but Baleba, he's not miles ahead either from he's not miles behind from Anderson. Is what I'm trying to say. The different profile. He's more of a box to box. He covers more of the pitch, but yeah, but it's still an interesting deal. But I'm not necessarily blown away by this Baleba signing, but it's definitely another player that comes into the Manchester United midfield and gives them something else. So very interesting to see this one if it becomes a here we go. Now let's shift gears to Chelsea Football Club. Joao Pedro has signed a contract extension at Chelsea Football Club. To me, this is positive news. Chelsea has been impressed by Joao Pedro's contribution in the last year. Just looking at his numbers from last year, he had over a 20 goal contribution, and he scored about 15 goals in Premier League, 23 total across all competitions, and he was a player of the season for Chelsea Football Club. And I'm sure there's some people out there are questioning if he's not a real striker, or is more of a 10, or he doesn't really have a solidified position, because he's so versatile and he's willing to take on multiple roles in a team. I'll be honest, like, he looks like a guy that can do so much, so I can understand how some coaches don't know how to lock him into any particular position. But it looks like Alonso in this preseason has shown that he has a plan for Joao Pedro, and it's to be a striker, somebody that puts the ball in the back of the net. The way he had, players like Sheik, whatever his name was, in Bayern Leverkusen, and the Nigerian brother, can't think of his name right now, that's also still playing there. He had all these guys balling out. You got Verts playing well. Frimpong. All these guys really became household names because of their contribution into that Bayern Leverkusen's invincible team. So I know he has plans for Joao Pedro. So I'm very happy for Joao Pedro to secure this improved deal, and he's getting an increase in the salary as well. And that just goes to show that if you play well under Bluco and these Clearly guys, you will get rewarded. And then I'm sure that Enzo's looking around and saying that, hey, I got over 20 goals and assists from midfield last season. I was one of the better players in the tumultuous season. And I've also just gone on to be a huge part of Argentina's World Cup run. Obviously, we know how that turned out. But I'm sure he's looking around and saying, hey, I deserve an improved deal as well. So this would probably lead to more rumblings, and we'll see if we're able to hold on to Enzo at the end of the season. But let's just get back to Joao Pedro for a moment. To me, he's definitely a striker. And he's good at dribbling and can create and score. But sometimes you just gotta just as you get older and you become more of a professional, you gotta define your role. So to me, he's a goal scorer. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. When he's one-on-one against your goalkeeper, you believe that he's gonna score. He's not gonna use the wrong technique. Last season under Maresca, when Maresca came out and said all those kind of damning things about him, not being a 20 goal a season scorer, and also not being the kind of player that you can depend on to give you goals, he proved all that wrong. He got about 26 goals last season in all competition. So he's already proven that he can do that. And then so now it's defined. He even had a hat trick against Aston Villa, and he's consistently giving out attacking output. So you remember during the Chelsea Football Club's rough patch last season where they won multiple games without scoring, and he was able to he kind of broke the goal drought with that beautiful bicycle kick, which was basically a consolation goal because Chelsea ended up losing that game. But it goes to show you that he's a game changer, and really excited for him to get this contract renewal. And we'll see if Enzo can get his improved deal as well if he ends up staying. And my final thoughts on Joao Pedro is just that he is Chelsea's best player as of right now. You know, going into last season, we probably would have said that was Cole Palmer, but right now, I would say Cole Palmer's chain has been snatched. It is up to him to go back and get it back. So let's see if he's able to come back this season healthier and show what he's about. I'm talking about Cole Palmer here. But, you know, as far as Joao Pedro's proven that he's an improvement on Jackson. He creates, he scores, he wins penalties. If he was a designated penalty taker, he would have even more goals. So he's a very good penalty taker, as we saw in his time at Brighton. So yeah, and then finally we can, the last bit of news that came across this morning was that Arsenal, according to another Ornstein Bomba, are closing in on a deal to sign Konsa from Aston Villa. That's another one that is kind of gone under the radar. We're talking about a 28-year-old defender who was representing England in the World Cup just not too long ago. He had a good showing there, and he was one of the most formidable players in the back line there. It looks like the negotiations are now advanced, and talks have even reached the ownership level to help bring the valuation gap for the England international. This is classic Ornstein. He drops exclusive and then moves straight on to the next story. And he's dropped a real one now that I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans are looking around and saying, you know what, we can do with another defender. I mean, it's not like they don't already have about 10 of these guys. I mean, it looks like they buy a new defender every single year. They have these like hybrid left backs that can also play center backs, and hybrid right backs that can also play center backs. So it's just a very defensively solid team that they're building there at Arsenal. We already know what they're capable of, even without this new signing. So I personally thought they needed more of an advanced player, like a left winger, or even a striker to deputize Kai Havertz, and maybe send that let me not call him a fat guy, but to get Gyökeres out of there. But it looks like we're gonna be getting Konsa, and maybe they'll try to hijack the Barcola signing on the other side, which will definitely piss off Liverpool fans. But looks like they are willing to come to bring the valuation of this player to a reasonable place for Arsenal to finalize the deal. So it looks like Arsenal are prioritizing defensive stability, especially with Saliba currently out. There was some suggestion early in the window that this could have been Christian Romero who came in, but to me that just made no sense. We saw how Romero kind of like down tools last season and seemed to like get himself, not red carded a few times intentionally because it wasn't up for the fight. And then he goes to the World Cup and does well. in Argentina's team. You know, being the consummate professional over there, but showed no regard for Tottenham. So I felt like a guy like that doesn't seem like he would jive well with the kind of coach that Arteta is. He seems like more of an authoritarian. He's not going to allow for a guy to come in there and try to, you know, do whatever it feels like. So Atletico seems to be better for a guy like that, and he seems like a more aligned deal on that front. So happy for Atletico to get a guy like that. And Konsa seems more like an Arsenal player. So Konsa, on the other hand, feels like a really smart, there's low drama signing. If it goes over the line, obviously, but reliable, experience, and Premier League proven. So let's see. Now it looks like Villa also are gonna like let him lower their prices. I'm not sure why they want to do that, but they are willing to kind of see if they can come to a deal. So let's see where it slots in though, because they already have Mascara there. They have Gabriel Magalhaes. You have all those. You know, you got the right backs of Ben White, and on the left you got Calafiori and Capi. All these guys are just formidable. Maybe he comes in for Mascara, and they would kind of rotate out. So we'll see how that works out. By the way, just keep an eye on this one. But as of right now, looks like Arsenal just continues to stack up on these defenders. They have Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Timber, Calafiori, Mosquera, Incapie, Lewis Kelly, Konsa now, maybe. There's, somebody makes a joke that even the U.S. Army does not have this level of defense. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment. Arsenal continues to pile up on defenders. Joao Pedro has finalized an improved contract at Chelsea Football Club. And of course, Baleba to Manchester United is a here we almost go. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.